In this video, I will be doing some practice questions for capital structure. So the first question is a self-test question from your book. All India Electronics Inc. produces stereo components that sell at P100 per unit. So the selling price of the one stereo component is 100. All India's fixed costs are 200,000, variable costs are 50 per unit, and 5,000 components are produced and sold each year. EBIT is currently 50,000, so earning before interest and taxes 50,000, and all India's assets, all equity finance, are 500,000. So first let's write down this much information. Okay, so right now they're telling us that the fixed cost is 200,000. The variable cost is 50. They told us the selling price is 100. The units produced are, so let's say the quantity is 5,000. And the EBIT, so let's take this over here, the EBIT is 50,000. I think I got all the information. Let's go back. Yeah, so 200,000 fixed cost, I wrote this down, variable cost 50, 5,000 components, price, EBIT, acha. All India's assets, all equity financed, are 500,000. So the assets right now are 500,000 and they are all equity financed. So this is the current information that we have. Till now, we read this much and this is all that we got from this. Now it says All India can change its production process by adding 400,000 to assets and 50,000 to fixed operating costs. So 400,000 assets में add हो सकते हैं, 50,000 fixed operating cost में for the new production process. So let's say that this is the information for the old production process. And over here we'll write the information for the new production process. So first thing, for the new production process, they need new assets. And they need new assets 500,000 पहले से उनके पास हैं, उनको नए assets चाहिए 400,000 के. So assets अब कितने हो जाएंगे? 900,000. Plus they also told us that fixed costs will increase by 50,000. So if fixed costs increase by 50,000, the new fixed cost amount will be 250,000. So let's see what else changed in the new production process. So going back. Okay, so I read it till here. Now this change would reduce variable cost per unit by 10. So variable cost 10 से reduce हो जाएंगी, तो हम ये भी update कर देते हैं. Okay, sorry about this. So here we have variable cost. So variable cost will reduce by 10. So अब variable cost हो जाएगी 40. Going back. And increase output by 2,000 units. So output will increase by 2,000 units. Okay, so let's write this down as well. ये रही हमारे पास quantity. So quantity 5,000 है और 2,000 units से increase हो जाएगी 7,000 की हो जाएगी. but the sales price on all units would have to be lowered to 95 to permit sales of the additional output. अच्छा, so वो क्या है, selling price हमें reduce करनी होगी to 95, not by 95, now it's 295. So selling price हो जाएगी 100 से 95. While India has tax laws carry forwards that cause its tax rate to be 0. Okay, so there is no tax rate. It uses no debt. Debt भी नहीं है, सिर्फ equity है, and its average cost of capital is 10%. So the average cost of capital is 10%. So let's just write this down, that no tax, no debt, and the average cost of capital. So the WACC is 10%. So this is the additional information given to us. Now this was all the information. Now we will see what the question is asking from us. So the question is, should Olinde make the change, why or why not? Okay. So this is all the information that we have. So should they go to the new production process or should they stick to the old production process? That is basically the question over here. So let's see how are they doing in the old production process. In the old production process, they have an EBIT of 50,000. So let's calculate what will be the EBIT, the earning before interest and tax, for the new production process. So the new EBIT, we can calculate it as follows. Sales. The selling price is now 95 and the units that will be sold are 7,000. So the sales amount is 665,000. Less from it the variable costs. Variable cost per unit is now 40 in the new production process and there are 7,000 units. So this will be 280,000. So subtract this. Then we also have fixed costs. So the fixed costs are 250,000 if I am not mistaken. So the fixed costs we have are 250,000 over here. So subtract this as well. This is our EBIT. So if you calculate this, EBIT is coming 135,000. Now the question also said that there is no debt. Okay, so it also said, sorry about this. So it also said that there is no tax and no debt. That means इसमें से interest भी नहीं subtract होना, इस पर tax भी नहीं लगना. So even isn't the EBIT also the net income then? Right? Earning before interest से आप interest subtract करते हो, tax subtract करते हो, and you get the net income. But because there is no debt, there will be no interest and also there is no tax over here. So your EBIT is also your net income. So यहाँ पे आपकी जो earning before interest and tax है वो है 135,000. So based on EBIT, you can say that yes, it is a good decision because the earnings will increase. But over here, remember the assets are increasing as well. So आपको देखना है कि assets के proportion में, is the asset utilization better or is it worse off over here? So let's also calculate the return on assets for both cases. So the return on asset formula is net income divided by total assets. So we already said क्योंकि यहाँ पे interest भी नहीं है, tax भी नहीं, तो net income और EBIT यहाँ equal ही है. So first let's calculate it for this one. So 50,000 and total assets यहाँ पे कितने थे? Total assets थे 500,000. and then calculate it for the other one as well. अब जो income है वो है 135,000 और अब जो total assets हैं वो increase होके हो गए हैं 900,000. So this will give you a 15% return, whereas over here you are getting a 10% return. So even your return on asset is higher if they go for the new production process. So based on the analysis and also given that the back is 10%, पहले सिर्फ बैक को ये लोग मीट कर पा रहे थे, यानी कि इक्वल टू था उनका रिटर्न, अब एक्चुअली रिटर्न ज़्यादा हो गया है. सो येस, दे शुड गो अहेड विद द न्यू प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस. This is our conclusion. So this was part A. Let's see what the other part is saying. So would Olende's break-even point increase or decrease if it made the change? Okay, so next we are supposed to calculate the break-even point. Okay, close. So battery is going low. So let's go down. Okay, so we're going to calculate the break-even point 2 times. The formula for the break-even point is break-even quantity is equal to the fixed cost divided by the selling price minus the variable cost. So let's do it for, let's call the before one production process A and the other one production process B. So if we do it for the first one, for the old one, the fixed costs are 200,000 over here, the selling price is 100 over here, and the variable cost is 50. So this is 4,000 units. And if we calculate it over here, break even point दोबारा यहाँ निकालें तो fixed cost यहाँ है 250,000. So this is for the new one. Selling price यहाँ पे reduce हो गई थी 95 and variable cost was 40. So this is 4545 units. So if you look at the break-even point has actually increased by 545 units. So if the break-even point has increased, see the fixed costs are more over here. This means that the business's operating leverage has increased. So the business will give you a higher return, but you should also keep in mind that the break-even point has increased and the operating leverage of the business has increased. So let's go on to the next part. Okay, so this was it. Then the other question is starting. So we have completed this one. Okay, so continuing on to the next question. It says currently Bloom Flowers Inc. has a capital structure consisting of 20% debt and 80% equity. So let's write this down. Okay, so we're going on to the next question, and the capital structure is 20% debt and 80% is equity. Bloom's debt currently has an 8% yield to maturity. Okay, so they have given you the rate of the debt, the cost of debt. So the cost of debt RD is 8%. The risk-free rate is 5%. The market risk premium is 6%. Using the CAPM, Bloom estimate that its cost of equity is currently 12.5%, and the company has a 40% tax rate. What is Bloom's current WACC? Okay, so let's write down all the information that we just read. So the risk-free rate is 5%. The market risk premium, which is your RM minus RF, is 6%. The cost of equity, so RS is given to you. The cost of equity is currently 12.5%. So let's write it over here with equity so that we have all the information organized. Okay, so here we have the cost of debt and here we have the cost of equity. And also they have told us that the tax rate is 40%. We need to calculate the WACC. So the formula for WACC is WDT1 minus T. Okay, so we do not have any preferred stock over here, so आप ये वाला portion skip कर सकते हो. WD, the weight for debt is 20%, so this is 0.20. The cost of debt is 8%. Tax rate है 0.40. Preferred stock आपके पास नहीं है तो आप ये skip करके direct equity पे जा सकते हैं because it's debt and equity. So the weight for equity is 0.80 and the cost is 12.5%. So if you solve this, your WACC will come out to be 10.96%. This is your weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so we have done the first part. Let's see what else they're asking. What is the current beta on Bloom's common stock? Okay, so we need to calculate the beta for the Bloom stock. So let's look at the information that we have. So we have the risk-free rate, we have the market risk premium, we have the cost of equity as well. So we can figure out beta from them. So if we use the CAPM model, हम इसमें से beta निकाल सकते हैं because I can see कि information हमारे पास कौन सी given है यहाँ पे. And also they said it in the question as well, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go back. Bloom, using the CAPM, Bloom estimates that its cost of equity is 12.5%. So even they have used the CAPM model. So going back, let's write down the CAPM equation. The risk-free rate, so the cost of equity is equal to the risk-free rate. Then we have RM minus RF, which is the risk premium, and this is multiplied by the beta of the stock. So the risk-free rate is given to us. It is 5%. The market risk premium, so this whole RM minus RF is given to us. This is 0.06. And we do not know what the beta is. Plus, but we do know what is the cost of equity. Cost of equity हमें given थी 12.5%. So we had this, and this. 12.5% is the cost of equity. So if you solve this, you will get the answer. 0.125. ये यहाँ positive उधर जाके minus में चला जाएगा. 0. So this is equal to, sorry. And now this is multiplying, so it will go on the other side in division. So if you solve this, you will get the beta of the stock, which is 1.25. Okay, so we are done with the next part. Okay, now it's saying that what would Bloom's beta be if the company had no debt in its capital structure? That is, what is Bloom's unlevered beta u? So now we have beta L. ठीक है, बीटा एल हमारे पास आ गया बिकॉज अभी तो 20% डेट लिया हुआ है उन्होंने और 80% इक्विटी है. Now we need to figure out कि अगर कोई भी debt नहीं होगा, so what is beta u? So we're going to use this formula. Let's go back. So this is beta L because this represents a 20% debt level. We need to find out कि 0% debt level पे, so when there is no debt, beta क्या होगा, which is represented by beta u. So the formula to do this is okay, so over here we have beta L, T is the tax rate, this is debt, and this is equity. So beta L is 1.25, we just calculated it. This is 1 plus 1 minus tax rate. So the tax rate is 40%. Debt was 20%, so 0.2, and equity was 80%, so 0.80. So if you solve this, your beta u is coming out to be 1.087. So अगर बिजनेस बिल्कुल भी लोन नहीं लेगा बिजनेस में तब भी इतना रिस्क होगा. Okay, so this is measuring the business risk. And this is measuring the business risk and the financial risk. 20% debt level पे इतना risky हो जाएगा business. So the risk level has increased from 1.087 to 1.25. Now what is the next part? Bloom's financial staff is considering changing its capital structure to 40% debt and 60% equity. So right now they are on 20% debt and 80% equity. अब उसे change करना चाह रहे हैं. If the company went ahead with the proposed change, the yield to maturity on the company's bonds would rise to 9.5%. So your RD will actually increase over here. So let's update our information. Now they want a capital structure which has 40% debt and 60% equity. But if they do this, the RD will now be 9.5%. The previous RD was 8%. So debt के ऊपर cost increase हो जाएगी. What else? The proposed change will have no effect on the company's tax rate. ठीक है, so tax rate हमारा same रहेगा, which was 40%. What else did we have before? Tax rate था, risk free rate, market risk premium भी same रहेगा. ठीक है. Now, what would be the company's new cost of equity if it adopted the proposed change in capital structure? Okay, so you need to figure out that if this happens, what will be the new RS? आपको RD तो पता है new क्या होगा, but what will be RS? So for this, you can actually calculate first at what will be the new beta at this level. So first we are going to calculate beta L at a 40% debt level. So the formula to do this is beta u, which you already have calculated, 1 plus 1 minus T and D over E. Okay, beta u is 1.087, 1 plus 1 minus T, which is 40%. Okay, debt is now 40%, so 0.40, and equity is now 60%. So if you solve this, you get the new beta, which is 1.5218. So if the business goes on अब 40% डेट लेवल पे अगर बिजनेस चला जाता है तो उसका बीटा इंक्रीज हो जाएगा 1.5218 पे. सो पहले अगर मतलब कि अगर बिजनेस बिल्कुल डेट नहीं लेगा तो उसका बीटा होगा 1.087. अगर बिजनेस 20% डेट लेवल पे होगा तो 1.25 होगा उसका बीटा. And at a 40% debt level, the business's risk will increase to 1.5218. So if the risk increases, the cost will increase because investors will require a higher return now. So you can use the CAPM model because you have the new beta in order to find the cost of equity. So RI is equals to RF plus this is the formula. So the risk-free rate will remain the same. ठीक है, स्टॉक मार्केट पे कोई इम्पैक्ट थोड़ी आएगा इस चीज़ से. मार्केट का रिस्क प्रीमियम हो जाएगा वही 0.06 but you will now use the new beta which is 1.5218. So the cost of equity now is 14.13%. This is the new cost of equity. Okay, let's see what else do we need to calculate. What would be the company's new WACC if it adopted the proposed change in capital structure? Okay, so now we need to calculate the new WACC. You can do that as well because अब आपके पास ये RS की information भी आ गई है, that it is 14.13. So you have all the information needed to calculate the WACC. So WACC का फॉर्मूला यूज़ करते हैं एक और बार. So now the debt weightage is 40%. The debt cost is 9.5%. Tax rate was still the same. So this is plus WC, the weight for equity is 0.6 and the beta the cost of equity at this point is 14.13%. So the new WACC is 10.758%. Okay, now let's see what is the next part. Based on your answer to part E, this is basically part B. Would you advise Bloom to adopt the proposed change in the capital structure? Explain. So the WACC prior to this was, the WACC before was, let me go ahead, 10.96%. And now the WACC is 10.758%. So the cost of capital has actually reduced because of this decision. So yes, they should change because it reduces the WACC of the business. So with this, we are done with this question.